Top 50 for floor 4 and for... Oh wait, someone pushed me out!
7k dreamer please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be looking at the heavenly stats again, floor 4 and floor 5. I've managed to make it into the top 50-ish as you saw just now. So I'm going to tell you guys the strategy here. But first we're going to look at the guild buffs. For guild buffs, you need to go with allies cooldown, lethal damage, crit rate, physical attack for the first floor, level 4 I mean. So these are Shane's equipments, crit, lethal, double counter, very standard jewel set. For her traits, you need to take note that she is not using magic here but increased damage on defensive, okay, defensive. I'm gonna repeat that, change it to defensive. I switched it to magic because I was using it for another purpose. And for her jewels, it's a very standard set, 3 PvE jewels on her. Same accessory as floor 1 to 3. And then for her fighter soul, take note that now she uses skill cooldown. For Ares, very important, all counter, very high counter, near to 100 if possible. You may not need to give her the evasion accessory right there. You can give her a counter accessory, I think that's fine as well. For her traits, you need to give her stun resist and electrify resist instead of death resist. Death resist is for floor 5, electrify resist for floor 4 because there is a Nia right here who can electrify. For Rachel, just basic HP, status resist effect if you have, and try to give her the increased awakening gauge jewel so that she can charge up her passive awaken skill much faster. And if you have an evasion accessory, give it to her as well. I mean, more defense is always good. Then we have Eileen. This Eileen is actually kind of like my spare Eileen, so you see that I don't have her exclusive item, I have no traits for her. She is really just there for survival. If you can make her as bulky as possible as you could, okay? So we're going into floor 4 first. This took me very long, almost 2 nights, and I finally got it. So if you see, Shane did a lot of damage on the Evan, and she did 2 speed attacks. I mean 2 basic attacks, and that's the most important thing. And one more basic attack here, immediately killing off the Evan. So within turn 1, she is able to kill off the Evan. This is a possible thing. However, this is also due to RNG because a lot of times she will not do that 3rd basic attack, and she may not even do a 2nd basic attack if you kill her skill already. And that is also why I stress on the importance of the trait increased damage on defensive heroes. Rachel cast her Phoenix to increase Shane's damage output because it lowers the defense and also increases the damage inflicted on the enemies. So the strategy here is very straightforward. The enemies will target Ares, and then Ares will counter, and then it will cool down Shane completely, and then you use Shane's skill at the start of every turn. That's as simple as it is. However, you do need to awaken Shane in this floor. This is my opinion. I'm not sure if people do it without her awakening, because I feel that with her awakening, she increases her damage output a lot, and she can definitely one-shot each hero subsequently. You will take a look here. And of course, another thing I want to stress that is you really should try to get her crit rate and lethal rate as high as you could, following how I set up her equipment from before. So this is actually the highest I can go based on whatever I have. So you see that Brans and Branza is already in zombie state. Okay, I'll just call it zombie state. So here I'm using Ares' 5-man AoE turn reduction. Okay, it is her top skill which I casted, and it will actually reduce Brans and Branza's zombie state by 1, and you see it's already blinking right there. So by the time the next turn comes, they are completely dead. And in fact, I feel like I didn't even have to cast this skill right here. I could have let a basic attack go through. Any one of the frontline could just knock them out with that one hit. Of course, I just waste a turn, but you know, using a skill is also wasting a turn, but my timing is a little bit longer because of the skill. Over here, I got blocked, but at least I managed to kill off the enemy right there, and doesn't really matter too much. But that's the point. Shane will be able to one-shot every single enemy on this stage, even Zhao Yun. That is why the trait for increased damage on defense is so important. And in this way, you can really manage your RNG because it is really just about, you know, Ares countering and Shane attacking, and that's all. There's not too much room for error because they will definitely touch Ares anyway due to her taunt. Okay, so this is a little bit longer than my best timing, but it has put me still in the top 20. Top 30 I mean, so I think that's totally fine. And we are going to look at floor 5. For floor 5, I'm going to change the guild buffs. So over here you see I've taken out physical attack and given back increased awakening gauge because I feel that for this stage you really want Shane to awaken as soon as possible. So same equipment, the only thing you need to manage is Shane's traits. I believe I gave Shane increased damage on Universal instead, not Magic, okay, like you saw, Universal. And of course Ares being the taunter here, she needs death resist because Chris will land death on Ares. So as you can see very quickly, compared to the previous floor, my Shane is already ready to awaken, and she did do 2 basic attacks for the start. So I think that is the very important thing here. If she doesn't do 2 basic attacks in your turn 1, she will not get her awakened skill that fast. I think you really do need 2. I'm not too sure, I cannot remember because the guild blast will change at a later part of my testing. So after Shane has awakened, land your Phoenix, you will be good to go with spamming Shane's attacks along with Ares countering. If everything goes well, you should be able to one-shot Ming Ming, Rin and that tiger with wings there. Okay, Chris is slightly more bulky. I have found a way, I have tried to actually be able to one-shot him. However, it kind of sacrificed some other things, so I'm not sure what is worth it. Because this stage took me super long and it was particularly tricky to really squeeze in 10 turns. So I'm really not sure how the other players managed to get it in a much shorter time and use much lesser turns. And likewise over here, you know that Chris is gonna break into his berserk and zombie, that kind of state, right? So you will probably be considering using Ares' skill, top skill again, to reduce 1 turn, and thank goodness for Chris it is only 1 turn. And you see that here my Shane failed to one-shot him, but she did a speed attack. She did a speed attack, and that was the critical factor, okay, of how I can save an entire turn, because if she doesn't do that speed attack, totally not very good. So here I'm using Ares' skill to reduce the 1 turn, and you see that Chris is vulnerable now and Ares did a speed attack. So all these speed attacks are super helpful right now because they totally saved me a few turns actually. Imagine Ares did not speed attack Chris, it will go on to the next round and then I will then need to land a speed attack on Chris. So that was a complete waste of 1 turn. So over here I saved about 2 runs already. It would have been a 12 turn run. And how do you control all this? The fact is that you can't control all this. These are really just RNG. Speed attacks are pure RNG, which means the only way you can do this is to retry and retry and retry. And there's really no other way around it. And of course I got pushed out of the top 50 for floor 5, but if there's time I will try again. No harm doing that. So if you guys haven't watched the first part of my Heavenly Stairs series, go check it out. I've given you guys a very big overview of how the mode works, so stay tuned for more guys. Do like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much and see you.